All right, guys, we finally got it. We had some technical difficulties, and we apologize. We appreciate those of you who waited for us. Let me put on my glasses because then I can't read. Or actually, usually I take them off to read. We appreciate you guys coming on, everybody. First off, we're going to do introduction of the panelists, but I want to thank you guys out there for holding on. And again, as we had a few technical difficulties, but we finally got on. And yesterday we had similar issues just as well. So we got to figure out what it is. So we launched just in time because I'm sure there was some dinners getting cold and something like that possibly. First off, I hope everybody's family is all safe out there and everybody's practicing social distancing, which, you know, we got these gentlemen from all parts of the country here, which we'll talk a little bit about that too. We hope everybody out there staying healthy. You know, it's a new world as what we know, and it's becoming a virtual world more than ever. You know, live streams were always around. Some of you guys on here have been doing videos for a long time like that, and some of you guys, the way you do and the material you guys come out is genius. So we're going to talk about those things. First off, I'm going to introduce Albert Paredes of Eliminator Lighting. Albert, how you doing?
Good, and yourself?
All right, ready to rock and roll with these guys. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what you do at Eliminator and how long you've been there, and as well as what else you do.
I've been with Eliminator for about 4 years now. I help bring in new products and research ideas that people give us and something that we think that the industry can use, or we actually take existing products and make them better. I was actually here at American ADJ back in service, I would say in the early 90s to the 2000s. So I have a 8 to 9 year experience in service and tech support and repairs and stuff like that. So I'm also working DJ. I love doing events. I'm passionate. I love to be unique, and I love to talk to other DJs and find out what works for them and what doesn't work for them, so I can learn from their mistakes.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Albert. We also have special guest Brian Dowdle, which many of you guys know out there, who is our marketing manager. And Brian plays a big part of always working with all the DJs out there. And now he's into working with the production companies. He works with all the rental companies and just everything, the install companies. So Brian does a tremendous work. Welcome, Brian, to the show.
Hey, glad we're on.
All right. See, there you go. Marketing right there. Marketing 101. So thanks again for everybody tuning in again. Once again, I apologize for the late start, but we are ready to rock and roll. So I want to introduce the panelists that are on here. And first off, guys, thank you guys for all joining us, and especially taking the time for us to actually launch this live stream. We appreciate your patience, and hopefully you got up or got to eat. I know some of you guys, maybe Eric, it's already past dinner time for you. So why don't we start off with you, Eric? Guys, I'm going to go a little round circle, each one of you guys. So we'll start with Eric. So just your name, your company, a little bit about your company, and you know, let's have a just brief introduction of you guys. Eric?
Sure. Well, thank you so much to ADJ. We really appreciate you guys bringing myself on board. I represent one of 14 guys who work for Good Guy Productions. A lot of you folks have probably met us at the conventions and the conferences. We've been around for years. We started going to the conventions in 2002. I ran into these guys here. I ran into Alfred and Brian Dowdle. And I remember one time Brian said to me, he goes, "You come to a lot of these, don't you?" I said, "Well, I've been an ADJ dealer for many years, and I enjoy, you know, trading ideas and sharing ideas." So, you know, I've got a radio background. That was my degree, was radio and television broadcasting. I ended up kind of on the other side of the microphone. You know, that was in '83 was my first gig in high school. I was a junior in high school. Been full time since '96. I don't know. I love what I do. You know, we do everything from backyard barbecues and weddings to, you know, full blown production stuff, AV in arenas. If you guys have seen any of my pictures or anything that's been on my Facebook page, my YouTube page, or on the ADJ page, you know, I love to share my successes and triumphs with these guys. And it's been a great working relationship with the ADJ crew. So being here today, I appreciate it. And hopefully I can give back to some of you guys out there who are watching as well.
Okay, great. DJ Barr out of New Jersey. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm hanging in there. Yes, DJ Barr here from New Jersey. I do weddings out here on the East Coast, and I make YouTube videos on the internet.
Yes, very nice. Brian S. Red, tell
Yes,
us about
sir.
yourself. And remember,
Well,
guys, real quick, Brian, I'm sorry, that I, I mean, obviously, you guys are popular. You guys do all this stuff. So keep in mind also, hopefully, we have some newbies in there, so they might want to know who you are too. So let it go.
sure. I'm Brian. I'm a DJ in Milwaukee, and I do YouTube videos as well. Been doing it for too long, and yeah, that's who I am, and hopefully I can contribute something to the panel today.
Okay, we're going to get more out of both you and Barr. That's limited. But Brandon Stewart out of Texas. How you doing,
Hey
bud?
guys, doing good, doing good. My name is Brandon Stewart, and we're out of Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. We focus mainly on weddings and school events, and we do. I've been DJing since I was in high school, so that'd be over 20 years. But Stewart's Productions is a little over 15 years old, and we offer lighting decor, entertainment services, videography and photography services as well, and going strong at it. We have a team of about 6 of us, consistency. So we like to handle, we just like to do large scale events one at a time. Sometimes we do a couple more on the day.
Okay, great. Well, we're going to come back to that, those large scale
Absolutely.
events. Okay. And then we got Richard Williams out of Los Angeles. Go ahead, Rich.
How's it going? Richard, everybody, by the way, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. I go by The Wanderer. I am a bar, club, and mobile DJ. I also edit audio and video for a few different websites, Club Killers, Direct Music Service, and pro videos for DJs.
Okay, great. All right, guys. Okay, now we're going to go for the good stuff. I think everybody's introduced here, right? I didn't leave anybody else now. I'm just making sure of all the screens here. One thing I do want to say is, I mean, all you guys, I've known you guys for years, that you guys all work hard and you guys are all nonstop. So these are some of the things we're going to talk about. One of the things I want to start off with, and we'll start off with you, Brian S. Red, and we're going to flip flop, or maybe you guys will be able to add on subjects, but Brian S. Red, we know you hit it on the spot, YouTube videos. Why is education and the life of not just the DJ, but the DJ who has become the event guy, or the event guy that's been the production company, all tied in together? Why is education videos very important to the industry?
I think it's one of those things where it can be, and Eric can attest to this, it can be a lonely existence, because you're out there, you're doing what you do, and you don't always have this crew with you or people to bounce ideas off of. So what's cool about YouTube and doing the videos, and I've been doing them since 2007, 7, I don't know, a long time. Anyway, I'm able to talk about my experiences in Milwaukee, and then somebody in Boise, Idaho can then reply to me and say something about what they're doing in Boise, Idaho, and then Barr can tell me what he's doing in New Jersey, and Eric can tell me what he's doing in New York. And now we're all communicating, not just at the trade shows, but all the time. And sharing those experiences and ideas are very valuable. And that's just something that I've tried to bring to my platform, is just what I'm doing, or what I saw Richard do, which we can talk about a little later, The Wanderer. That was amazing. And what I'm seeing Brandon do, that's great stuff. And being able to share that and talk about it, and, you know, I guess express any kind of ideas you may have on it, or expand on the ideas that they have, I think is great. And I watch other people's stuff too, and we all learn that way. It's very important.
Okay, and then Barr, on your end right there, obviously, Brian, one of the compliments I got to give you is when you do your videos, they're very personal. Like you said, somebody from this city, that city reaches out to you, and I think it's a great way to communicate. Then you got Barr on the other side, where Barr likes to make a little bit of noise. Barr creates those editing and all that like that, and Barr, when you do this and you do your videos, and obviously they're educational, they're informal, what drives you to just, you know, twist it up a little bit and add different flares and, you know, different edits and stuff like that when you do your videos?
Yeah, so it kind of happened on accident, actually. the start of it was just me trying to create content. I was fascinated with YouTube culture. So I was like, oh, I want to be like those YouTube guys who make videos. But I didn't know what to make videos about. So I said, oh, well, I do some events, I DJ, so why not film that? And that's where it all kind of started. I kind of stumbled upon it by accident. But the main goal was never to teach. The goal was always to just make something that's fun and entertaining to watch, something that I would want to watch. So it's more a day in the life, but people do learn as I go. But yeah, the main goal is just to something entertaining, something that's fun to watch. It was always the main goal.
Okay, well, that's awesome. We appreciate that work that you do. Speaking of that, Brandon, I want to pick your mind. And I mean, you do all aspects of the business. And if you had to tell people out there or people that are interested getting into the DJ market or event market, how would you recommend someone starts with that?
I'll say find your niche and find the type of crowd you want to entertain, and maximize that. Like for me, for example, I want to get into schools and weddings. So I mainly, I started out doing weddings, and then schools, I started infiltrating the school market and with the younger, like the elementary and the middle school. And that's what started catching wind into the high school stuff. And however, another thing that we started doing is documenting all of our work. If it's good work, document it. And that's documented with video, photos, good social media push, and good quality video, and create excitement. So you have really good marketing material to use starting out. So, I can't stress enough, video has really accelerated my business over the last 15 years, big time.
Right.
We deal with customers that have a really, that has a visual expectation, and they want to see something neat that catches their attention.
Sure.
So lighting was a big part of it, and the lighting and video go hand in hand. However, the entertainment is still important at the end of the day when it comes to the DJ portion. And then we start going in other lines of business that pretty much helped everything else. We will talk about it here in a bit.
Okay, and I guess from what I take from that is that branding yourself is very important, what you do, and that's the different ways you do it, by videotaping yourself and YouTube and your team, their setups and all that. And again, everything you mentioned, that's a great way to brand yourself. And obviously the goal is to get more business, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Brian mentioned something about Rich, and before we talk about pop-up, I want to switch it over to Albert, because this is one of the subjects he brought up, and I wanted to make sure. And again, this switching over, it's a little sensitive, but there's a bright side to it. And I want Albert to mention. Albert, we talked about cancellations, and that, and maybe you could start it off, and then someone could pick up on that. So go ahead, Albert.
Unfortunately, with this current situation with the COVID-19 and all this weird lifestyle that we've been forced to be accustomed to, unfortunately, a lot of people with events have had to postpone. Unfortunately, the first word that comes out of the mouth is, "I need to cancel, and I would like a full refund." As far as how's your contracts are situated, the best thing to do is obviously postpone it and move them to a different date, and able to talk to your client and show them that you're with them and you help them with the process and you make it as smooth as possible. That's been a real eye-opener for us now, because obviously we never had to do that before. Before, people would pick a date, they make the reservation, they confirm, we sign a contract, the date comes and you knock it out of the park. Nowadays, it's different. It's a different conversation you have to have with them. And that's what we've been doing for the past couple of months, is helping them postpone the date either a few months from now or a year from now.
Okay, and on that subject, I want you guys maybe to expand on that a little bit, but thinking about the business, and we're going to talk to Rich right now. And, with these cancellations or postponements, whatever they want to call it, obviously nobody has a timeline when events will open, although you know, you hear a lot in the news about small gatherings or 50 and under and things like this. So there will be some adjustments, and nobody could really predict what it's going to be. But you guys all are booked all the time. You guys are always doing events. But what have you guys, if you could give advice, or actually, you know, you guys, one of the reasons why we pick you guys is because we want you guys to give inspiration to people out there that have got cancellations, that have got down about business and all that. And then you got to figure out, what's my next step? What am I going to do to adjust? You know, no matter what industry you're on, everybody's doing that out there right now, unless they're in the essential business where, you know, they're working at hospitals and law and certain things that go by across the country. But let's start off with Richard. How did that affect you, Rich, once you started getting cancellations and obviously the world changed in a heartbeat in the middle of March? What have you did to kind of combat that or figure out, what am I going to do next?
Well, first I sat on my ass for like 5 weeks. I couldn't think of anything. But
Good answer.
you know, everyone's was going live, you know, on their social media. I didn't do it. I actually just wanted to take a little break. We had a friend's birthday coming up, and you know, people started doing these parades, and we decided, my girlfriend and I decided, hey, instead of doing a parade, I said, why don't I rent a van? And I put my DJ system in there. We roll up and start blasting music in front of her house. So it just started off as a gift and to be funny. I never thought of it as to continue my business. And once we did that, we went live. So that was my first time going live in 5 or 6 weeks. And that's the longest I ever went without DJing since I was 14 years old. Once we went live, people started asking me, hey, can you do this at my place? Can you come over here? And I was like, oh, wow, this is great. You know, so we just responded to everybody. And fortunately, I've been working. Obviously, I'm not charging what I normally charge. You know, I got to meet halfway with people. But it's been great. It's some source of income. You know, I've had other people do it. Other people are asking, hey, do you get mad when they copy? There's enough out there for all of us. You know, it's just like clubs and bars. There is enough room for all of us. There's so many bars and clubs. There's so many people. We all know different people. So, you know, feel free, take the idea, you know, do what Brian said, you know, take it to another level. You know, I'm a fan of it. I mean, I want, but yeah, I've been fortunate. We did, I think, 7 or 8 last week. I got 7 or 8 this week. I'm not booking too far ahead. I have people asking for June because we do not know what's going to happen. I don't want to be taking deposits or anything like that and have to give them back. I'm already dealing with that with private events. I don't want to have to do that with this too. So I'm not booking too far right now. I'm kind of going into the end of May and then waiting for June. But yeah, it's been great. Definitely can't complain. It's been something is better than nothing, and I get to keep doing what I love to do during this time.
Yeah, and one of the things, Brian, I want you to expand on that because you had did a YouTube thing on it or something, right?
Yeah.
You did, yeah. So Rich, what about the other part of what you do of, I know you started posting it, but the editing, you didn't talk about, we talked about video in a different way with Brian and Barr and what Brandon does, but what about on your end of video editing?
Well, that's just something I do all the time. Again, I took a 5-week break. I just got into it a week and a half ago. But yeah, I mean, this is what I DJ for a living. I don't have another job. So so everything that I do is for my income. So yeah, I'm continuing to make audio edits and video edits. Thanks to social media, I have a whole bunch of DJs that are always interested in my work. So, you know, I sell it to them privately, just my own stuff that I create. I never sell other people's stuff. I do get free promotion, you know, through social media and then with the websites that I'm part of, like Club Killers. So people, I'm fortunate that they know who I am and they trust my work. So yeah, they come direct to me and I'm selling them either audio or video. So that is just an ongoing thing all the time. But it's helped me right now because I still have sold some. I don't always announce it. And right now I didn't really want to announce it just because there's a lot of guys, you know, that are going through the same thing I am. And I didn't want to, you know, hey, dangle this in front of them and have them spend their money on that. Because I don't know if they have it or not. And that's the same thing with these pop-up DJ services. It's hard to give a big price because, you know, everybody's situation is different. And I'm just expecting it like mine where they have no income. So, you know, But yeah, definitely people hit me up all the time over social media, and we use Dropbox. You know, it's so easy nowadays to do a transaction and trade, you know, videos and things like that. So yeah, I've been fortunate that also keeps a little bit of income flowing as well.
Yeah, all right. And Rich, he primarily does mix with videos, which is awesome because when he does his own edits, they're very unique. I'm fortunate that I get some of those and work with them and promote his videos just as well. And he does a great job with it. Brian, so what did you come out of seeing that? And obviously, to me, it's a very personal thing when you're going to people's house and thing like that. And so there's a personal connection on that people appreciate you doing that. So what did you see from your perspective on that?
Well, Richard's video, by the way, and I said it earlier, is very inspiring. And Brian shared it with me. He says, I don't know if you saw this or not, but I need you to look at this. Alfred had it on his page. Oh, that's really cool. So it got me thinking about my friend Mike, who passed away. His son does this truck parade, and he started this very organically. So here in Milwaukee, the Milwaukee area, and it snows and stuff, and you've got a lot of guys driving around in the big 4x4 trucks, and they have a Facebook group that he started probably, I don't know, Andrew started it maybe a year ago, where these Wisconsin truck enthusiasts get together and have these meets, you know, big tires, 4x4s, flags sticking out of the back, the whole bit. So when this all popped, they decided what they wanted to do was hold truck parades for little kids' birthdays. So if a little kid really likes trucks, all of these truck guys meet at a parking lot, like at a church or whatever, at a specific time. They have rules, no burnouts, no, you know, being foolish about it, no getting out of the vehicle. And they'll drive past the little boy's house, and, you know, for his birthday. It's really cool. And what happened was they didn't charge for it, but somebody took a phone video of their kid just like almost crying, jumping up and down in excitement because these trucks were driving past the house, and the news picked it up. So they got news coverage, and then another news outlet picked it up and it got news coverage, and it just spread. So everybody knows who these people are, and they do them every single day. They are so booked. They don't charge for it, but they do donations through like a Patreon or whatever. And the people ask, well, what do you recommend donating? And most people donate $100 or whatever you can. And they try to flip that back into, you know, things like t-shirts or gifts for the kids or whatever.
Sure.
So that was cool. So I took that idea and Richard's idea, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, you know, we could maybe incorporate this stuff. Maybe, I don't know, I have a 65 Mustang. Maybe the Mustang leads the truck parade, pulls up to the kid's house, blasts happy birthday while the trucks are going past. And then when that's over, the car pulls into the back of the convoy. I don't know. There's all kinds of things that you could do with this. And, you know, I'm thinking to myself, if you were clever about it, you could probably do several of these a day. You know, just with what Richard's doing, instead of just booking one.
Yeah.
Maybe you could do something with people don't have a lot of money. Maybe you could just reach out and say, hey, look, I'm doing this. You get 15 minutes of music. Just a quick thing. So you're not really disturbing anybody for too long. If they want it longer, maybe they can pay for it. And maybe that's how you make your money. Maybe you book 3 a day, 7 days a week. And, you know, with that, if you're getting $150 per event, let's just say you would, if they wanted overtime, it's going to add up. You might make more money than you were otherwise.
Right.
So it's about being creative, you know, and Richard is one of those guys who just did it. Everybody's looking for an excuse not to do things. Believe me, I know. Everybody wants, yeah, but you can't do it because of this, or yeah, but you can't do it because of that. Richard's the guy who's like, no, you can do it. And he did it. And that is so inspiring.
Yeah. And that's, go ahead, Rich.
I do multiple. This past week on Saturday, we did 4 of them.
Nice.
I have to be risk specific. I need to get addresses. I got to see how much time it takes to drive to these places. But we did 4 of them. It was a long day. I was tired. I felt like I did a big long festival and set up gear and everything. it was tiring, very emotional too. You know?
Right.
It great
How
time.
long do you normally? I'm sorry, Richard. How long do you normally stay at these parties or these curbside things?
30 minutes is what I'm doing. And they can go longer if they want. It needs to be told to me beforehand.
Right.
But 30 minutes seems to be a good time just because the initial drive up and we start playing music is really where all the excitement's at. And like, wow, I can't believe it. You know,
Right.
I called it for her birthday and she can hear a car pulling up and had no idea what it was. As soon as I opened the door and they took her for a blind.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, here comes the music. But the excitement wears down after a few songs and just kind of mingling. So 30 minutes is more than enough time. And
Sure.
so the one I did in the evening had me for an hour, but they were all dancing in the driveway. There was like a little mini yeah. So
You know,
What is that?
but that's the
by my
Here.
mother's house, they have this thing every well, our weather is not quite there yet, but if it's good weather, by my mother's house, which is about 40 minutes outside the city, at 5 o'clock on Sunday, they all get together in the street and toast to health, social distancing, of course. So that's like a neighborhood thing. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe the neighborhood would enjoy music for 15, 20 minutes, and maybe you could pass the hat and maybe you could pick up $100, $200 just doing that.
That's a great point. So for Mother's Day, I have 4 of them, and some of the people that contacted me, actually, it was a client that gave me the idea. She said, "Oh, I'm trying to see if my neighbor wants to do it," you know, and then they're splitting the cost. So that's what I've been recommending to people, you know, who are kind of iffy on the price and everything. Well, split it up, you know, especially Mother's Day, or you know, not everyone has their birthday same day, but Mother's Day, we're all celebrating at the same time, the same day. So you split it up between 3 neighbors, or you live in a cul-de-sac, you do the whole block. And everyone pitches in $10 or whatever.
Yeah.
This is guerrilla DJing. This is like the old days back in South Bronx where guys like Cool Herc and Grandmaster Flash were tapping into power lines to play.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the police response? Okay, we can get away with this for 20 minutes. Go.
People didn't get bothered at all, even the one I did at night. We had one drive by during one of the parades. I was sitting there in the van, and cars were just driving by honking. A police car came in. I thought he was coming to us, but he was going somewhere else. Completely ignored us. So it was great.
Right on.
Another thing I do here is, because I don't own a van anymore. Gear is so small, I just have an SUV now.
Right.
So I'm renting a van. So when someone asks me for a price, I'm including the van price. And then if I tell them if I get somebody else, I'll have you split the cost with them. You know, and they just have to trust me that I got someone else, and now it's this much less. So
What is it, $20 a day from U-Haul or something like that?
yeah, with the I'm charging 50, so it depends on what U-Haul you have to pay per miles. Enterprise,
Right.
200 miles for the day. They're a little bit more, but you know, I get 2 or 3 of them. People are paying, you know, $15 extra.
Right.
I get the same rate, and they just splitting up the van. You know, Mother's Day, I didn't even charge for the van because I got like 4 or 5 of them, so I'll just cover the cost of the van.
Sure.
There you go. And again, for everybody out there, we're talking about things you could do that are outside of the box, outside of the DJ box. Find a way to make income right now while we're doing this, and we're hoping this talk inspires people,
Is
you
there
know,
any
out
way-
there to whatever you could do, get out there and do it just to generate some money. There's always ideas.
We're talking about a concept. I don't know if it's possible or not, but is there any way that you can show that video on a screen share so people can see what we're talking about? Is that possible?
Not on mine because I'm hosting.
Okay.
It. I can't. Yeah, because it's going through Facebook Live right now.
Oh, there's a bunch of them on my Facebook. So if you want to send everyone, I actually have to sign off right now and get going. I have a pop-up party at 6. I got to go pick up a van.
Go make that money.
So if anyone's interested in a shirt, I just want to send a shout out to my boy that's making them. He's out of work, obviously, right now, another DJ. He started making these shirts because DJs are essential. Obviously, I'm getting booked, so we all know it's an essential thing. But I just wanted to throw this out there. If anybody wants one of these shirts, hit him up. There's $16.
I like that. It's real nice.
So thank you guys. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Richard.
Rich, take
Thank
care,
you.
man.
Yeah, I'm gonna take off and go work right now.
All right,
Take care,
Rich.
man.
All right.
Rich.
Thank you for
Thank you
joining
for
us
what
for a
you
bit.
do.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Hey, Brandon, over there.
Yes, sir.
You're actually in my corner over here. I wanted to ask you a question because I know how busy you are and I always see your posts on Facebook. How do you balance out your load and Eric will probably add to this too, but how do you balance out your load with all your workload and as well as your family as a entertainer?
I've actually learned to replace my position to have other people do certain roles to take some of the load off of me. So for example, like when we're preparing for a wedding, I have somebody maybe working on the music portion of it and meetings. I'll meet with the customer. And my wife, she will help out a lot with some different roles, as well as when we're setting up, I'll have somebody specifically on sound, somebody on lighting. And then I'm pretty much turning into directing the event, or sometimes flip side, you know, I have somebody else helping directing and I'm DJing, or vice versa.
Right.
You know, so basically replacing the positions was a really big plus, a big help.
Yeah, and I think that's important when you get busy and you guys can become a hybrid of a company, and as you DJ, like you said, schools, weddings, as well as you do productions as well, larger productions. So it's great on that. Eric, what can you add on the balance of the family, obviously with 3 girls and everything else that you do, you know, because you're a hybrid in this business, what you do as a big DJ company, but also as an install company, as a production company, everything under your belt falls right there.
You know, as you said that the other day, hybrid, I said that's kind of funny using, you know, a lighting term to apply it to my life itself. So if you look, I got these dark circles under my eyes. I spend a lot of time working, but I spend a lot of time with my family as well, because family is the utmost importance to me. And I'm very blessed to have some very talented guys that work for me. So when I have something that I can lend it off to Corey, and Corey takes care of it, or Sean takes care of it, or Scott takes care of it. Those things are extremely important to me, to have these guys under the good guy umbrella. And so right now, as things are changing like this, I've said to the guys, if you need work, if there's anything you need, come to me. I need you. I need them to stay on board. I can't have them wandering off and, you know, thinking about anything else. So that's part of the difficulty of right now. You know, balancing the job. It's nice to be able to delegate sometimes. And if it's not a job that I have to be at, if it's something, a small lighting job, small PA job the guys can do. Again, I'm just very blessed to have other guys who are as equally talented as, or more talented than I am.
Okay. Well, that's a I don't think it's a problem. That's an awesome trait to your company to have when you have these talented guys. And obviously the rule out there is to, if you could make your team, just like a lot of the workers that work around me, you're as strong as your team is. And if you allow your team to excel and really help you out in every aspect of the business, guess what? It makes you a stronger company. And sometimes it does take tension or relief off you just as well. So that's important.
Very important on our end. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to come back to you, Eric, on something.
Sure.
But Barr, I know you can answer this. Albert, you had mentioned about dancing on the clouds. Why don't you talk about that a little bit, and then we could have Barr expand on that, because he's did quite a few things in videos with dancing on the cloud, or whatever term we may call it. So that way the people out there understand the term, or what you guys want to call it when you do provide that service to the companies.
Well, dancing on the cloud is one of the services that we offer besides everything else that we do. But a key word that is very important is what Brandon said, is having a niche of services. So dancing on the cloud to us is a big upsell when we tell the clients what their plans are for the first dance as husband and wife. So when we meet with them at the complimentary consultation, we'll show them the video. And as soon as we show the couple the dancing in the cloud effect, the wife's heart, the eyes just pop out, and they look at the husband or the fiance and they're like, I want that. And as long as you have her on board, it's an easy close. I mean, pictures and videos speak louder than words. And once we show them the video, they're hooked. The guy looks at us and says, all right, we want that too. And we just start adding one service on top of another one. But Dance on the Cloud is a really, really popular service that we offer. And a lot of local DJs that do not have that machine to provide that service have hired us to do only that service for them And I love networking with great DJs and doing that service for them. I show up, I do my thing. The first dance is over. I say, have a nice night, and I'm on my way home.
Yeah, and to speak for Albert on what he does, I mean, obviously I didn't remember if you said it in the beginning, but Albert does do events and he's been doing that for years himself, for plenty of years. So that's why he knows about that firsthand. So Barr, on your end, if somebody wanted to get into that type of service, what are the safety parameters, and what do you suggest? And obviously you did some great videos on that. So can you kind of touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing is obviously selling it, and just like he just said, the biggest thing when you're selling a service like that is just getting that wow factor from your client. So you need that video, you need pictures, and sometimes I would even advise guys to just go off the internet, find a quick clip or grab somebody else's picture just so they can kind of get the point across before you actually do it. As far as actually getting it out there, there's a couple of tricks as far as what I do. Many venues have different rules depending on, whether or not they accept it or not. A workaround I found with that is instead of you calling up the venue and asking, is having the bride and groom call up and asking, just because the bride and groom are cutting the venue a check. So chances are they're going to be a lot more lenient to them, where if you, call them up and say, hey, I want to bring in a smoke machine, they're probably not going to be very happy. So I usually coach my clients. I usually tell them, hey, tell them that you want to do Dancing on the Clouds. Whatever you do, don't call it a smoke machine or anything like that. And just work with them. They're usually really cool about it. If they want to see a demo, we can definitely do. But it's a great upsell. You really get those wow moments from the crowd. Everybody goes, oh my God, as soon as they start seeing that cloud just, slowly creep in. Everything happens in slow motion. It's a little bit nerve-wracking the first couple of times you do it, just because you got to work on your timing. But it's an awesome effect once you get it down, and then people just fall in love with it.
Yeah. Well, that's a great. Those are great tips right there. Really great tips for people out there that are getting into that. Eric, on your end, obviously, Barr plays to this. So just to touch a little bit on Eric, how you being in the state of New York, how's this experience been with you? Because obviously that's a high volume of everything that's gone on, in the world right there. And New York itself has faced a lot of challenges. And how have you adapted to that? And what do you see the people around you, and just in general, and in all types of business, and just not our business?
So in my aspect, I think I might be a little bit different than the other guys, maybe Brandon, because mine are pretty much one-off gigs. So here in Lake Placid, we do a lot of events around sports. The World Figure Skating, Synchronized Skating Championships were canceled. The Miracle on Ice reunion was canceled. The ECAC hockey tournament was canceled. Those are all things we're involved with. Those are one-off deals. Those aren't postponements. Those are cancellations. So that's kind of tough on me in that aspect, that they're not going to come back. We have a pretty distinct wedding season up here. It's usually from Memorial Day to Columbus Day. So those first through like June, they've been postponed until next year. As we were waiting for the feed to come up, I had a guy for July 11th. He said, are we fools to send out our final invitations? And I said, from my aspect, I don't think so. I think we should be pretty clear in July. Things are starting to loosen up here. So in the intern, we've had to try to think of alternate ways. Now, do you mind if I do a screen share?
Sure.
Okay. So what I did is, now here's Brian. There's the video we were talking about before, right? That's with the Wander. So I have a lot of production gear. And I said to the local college, I said, hey, why don't I shoot an end of year video for you? I've got 4K cameras that we normally would be using for graduation to record the event. I did a recording of an event I went around campus. I talked to professors. They put something in a box, and the kids are going to get a virtual graduation in a box. So I was able to utilize some of my equipment for that. This guy right here I put it out when New York decided that we weren't going to have any more class and we were done for the year. A lot of the parents were upset, not only are the sports seasons being finalized, we've already lost to proms or after proms, graduations were going to be gone. So I said, well, we do a lot of drive-in movies. We do a lot of production type stuff in Lake Placid. So why don't we take that and turn it into a virtual graduation? Okay, now that people can sit in their car. I bought an FM transmitter. They can sit in their car, or we can social distance. If you notice, I've also added a picture of me standing next to a video panel wall. So now we can do it in the daytime as well. Look at this right here. That's the number. Look at the shares. It went crazy. People all love the idea. 362 shares of this idea. So now I haven't seen this come to full fruition yet, but I've been getting a lot of calls for this. So kind of thinking outside the box and just thinking, what else can I do? Now, are you guys seeing all this here?
None of it.
No, but
Okay.
you're explaining it well enough where we get the
Okay, so-
picture.
There we go.
There we go.
Oh,
Okay, there's that. And then this right here. This is me standing next to the video panel. So we've taken, the screens. This is a 20 high by 24 wide. People can sit in the car. We use a transmitter. And then this is the number I was telling you about.
oh yeah.
This
Nice.
post right here, 362 people decided, hey, that's a good idea. Let's go ahead and let's work with this. And that was the video of just utilizing our 4K cameras. And that was let's see, there's another one here for Brian. There's the video, Brian, with Richard the Wanderer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
his virtual party.
Is that Shanor?
Yes, that was her birthday.
Oh,
Why
was
he
it
did it, by the way. Yes.
So anyways, yeah. So those are a couple things that we've decided to do. A picture I don't have is somebody asked me, they said, well, we see you and your girls they've become the Twisted Sisters DJ crew, and they go live every Tuesday night. One of my friends saw it and said, my daughter's having 12th birthday. Would you do a Zoom for my daughter's birthday party? Why not? So they gave us a $100 tip for us to go live. We invited 22 of their friends, I think, showed up, and I did games with them. We did some funny things. We did like the Frozen t-shirt. We put a cracker on their forehead and they had to get it in their mouth. Some things that could be seen on the screen. But the greatest part about that is that the kids were able to see each other. They hadn't seen each other for 5 weeks. They were able to talk to each other. At first they said, hey, everybody, turn your microphone off so we can hear the music. And then as it came about, said, leave your microphones on. You guys talk. We're secondary. You guys are now able to see each other and to communicate and to just have a conversation and, like you would at lunchtime or on the playground at school. And the kids really needed that. It worked out fantastic. So those are a few things that we're doing here at Good Guys to try to keep current, keep live, keep people entertained, and make a couple of bucks, as we go along doing this.
Well, I really think you hit a valid point. I mean, obviously drive-ins are going to become the cool thing now, and they could be on any open lots that are out there. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the old school drive-in type business. So that's the beauty about it. And
yeah, we're portable. We can go to them.
Yeah, that's beauty. That's the beauty of a thing. So Brian S. Red, how about on your end? I'm going to get to some fun stuff with you, but what have you did to obviously get through this time right now until things ramp up, and how creative, because to me, all of you guys on here are very creative. So to take that a step further, just like you guys are mentioning in the tips you guys are putting out there, what's your take on it, Brian? And what are you obviously doing to keep yourself busy and get through this?
Well, I've been keeping myself busy. That's the key. Every day I do something, and sometimes it's a little 15-minute project. Sometimes it gets rather involved, but I'm waiting for the weather to break to do more things here. But there are plenty of things that I've been putting off, here in the shop that I've been taking care of. In the meantime, I'm trying to do a video a day. It doesn't always work out, but I'm trying to get a video up a day and trying to help people, trying to, I guess, collect ideas or get people thinking about what they can be doing right now. Now, Eric knows and Barr knows that every night for like 2 months, we've all gotten together in something called the Virtual Chill Lounge. And
It's like
that
Cheers.
it's an open forum for all DJs. Anyone's welcome. You can come in. We usually kick off, I don't know what, Eric, around 8 to 9 Central Time.
I usually
Sometime
hop in
later.
around 11 o'clock when there's a group of 16, 20 or so.
Yeah, usually by midnight, it's really cooking. And sometimes they'll go to like 6 in the morning. And sometimes they'll just
We have.
talk smack in there. But other times, we're really sharing some good information and bouncing ideas off of each other. And It's been helpful. As soon as the weather breaks here, well, I will say this real quick. This is my downtime right now until about mid-month, because in Wisconsin, it's cold. I had some work in the early part of the year, January, February, which is pretty normal. Then it gets quiet, then wedding season kicks in. So financially, I'm on pace for what I'm supposed to be doing. So when things are supposed to kick back in, that's when I really got to start thinking. But the good news is the weather's going to break, and people like Richard have inspired me to do other things.
And good. And again, like I said before, this is what that's about. You guys don't know the power that you guys have collectively as, industry leaders. And that's why we're doing this. And, sure, we could talk about product and this and that. And we're talking specifics of of what you guys do, and we want other people to know that. And Brandon Stewart down there,
Yes, sir.
so Texas is we talked about Eric and his situation, and I want to get to Barr about New Jersey, but Texas obviously has kind of been more open to things, and not all businesses close like a lot of other states. And as Texas obviously ramps up and more businesses open, how are you adjusting to it, and how do you see your future business from this past business, and what's your advice to people of moving forward in this situation? Because obviously you have a little bit jump in Texas than other states out there.
Yeah, we definitely have a jump. However, we still have events. I just had 2 events canceled this week. Well, actually, one canceled and one rescheduled. The one that canceled was actually a rescheduled prom, but they went ahead and canceled, and they're not having a prom this year. However, the other one was a quinceañera. They're rescheduled for the end of the year. So, I mean, we're still going through a lot of that. I'm starting to get, we already have clients already on the books, some photo and video shoots that we're supposed to finish up and wrap up. And we had 5 major events in June, and 3 of them are actually, one of them was recanceled and 2 of them are rescheduled, and then 2 of them are still on. Okay. But we most of everything is actually being, my business is going to start picking back up around August here.
Okay.
Because people are still skeptical. So we have some, they're saying that they're open up to 25% on, like regular retail and business, but like as far as like clubs and bars, that haven't really opened those up. They're talking about on the 18th of this month, opening some of those areas up. Places like, for example, Six Flags, it's a theme park. They're actually going to have it to where you have to register online to make a reservation to go to Six Flags, kind of like Disney. And they're only allowing so many people in the park. So
like quarter capacity or something like that.
Yes, that's exactly what they're doing. And that's huge. I mean, that's like less than 10,000 people in the park,
Right. Well, the nice thing though, it does put a number of people back to work.
It does.
At a smaller amount. And so so what would you say to somebody that, is out there dealing with cancellations and stuff like that? And what advice can you give people how to make that a positive?
What I've done is, when they cancel, I always ask them, do you want to reschedule? And we can reschedule your event. I've had a couple of them wanted their money back. Unfortunately, they don't get their money back, because I do have, a clause in my contract, Mother Nature, act of God clause in there for situations like this. Even riots are in there. So, I have a contract that protected me just in case something like this came up. And they were like, could we have our deposit back? And technically in Texas, and all my contracts, I call it retainer. In the state of Texas, a deposit can be fought in court and they can get their money back. But a retainer, they can't get their money back in Texas. And this is something I had my attorney drawn up. So, I mean, that's an advice I can give people who haven't done that for the future. Best advice right now in this pandemic time is start catching up on your social media, maybe catch up any backlog, any ideas you're trying to do to get more business, to start showing a online presence, maybe work on your website and all that stuff. And networking, that's another good important thing. That's what I'm doing, is networking and keeping up with some of the vendors around here.
Good. And that's kind of what we're doing here, networking. And a lot of people know you guys, but there's always newbies that are in this business and they want to learn from the pros. So it's great advice. So Barr, you being in New Jersey, we know the impact that New Jersey has had the last, 3-4 weeks. How have you coped with it, and what have you did to, pass by time and think of how are you moving forward with this to that next stage?
Yeah, so I'm super close to New York City, and that's like ground zero. It's crazy over here. Everything is totally at a standstill. We don't even have a tentative opening date. So we don't really know when, we're gonna get back to work. It's looking like July, but even so, everybody's gonna be kind of on their toes, a little bit freaked out. So it's been tough just rescheduling brides. I personally will work every single weekend. I usually do about 100 events a year myself.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's been really difficult because every weekend I'm used to being out gigging, and this is all I know. Right out of high school, I went into DJing. So I'd never done anything else aside from this, but I mean, it's been rough. Luckily, I have YouTube, and YouTube is a source of income for me, so that's been kind of helping me cope. Much similar to Brian, I'm trying to do daily uploads, but it's difficult. It's time consuming, and you also don't know how the video is going to perform, and there's many things that kind of works against it, and also with the whole situation, there's no advertisers, and we, essentially when you have a YouTube channel, you're more or less, a place to put ads on. You're more or less a billboard, and if everybody's business is closed, and why are they going to advertise? So it has been a little bit tough. Luckily, I'm keeping my sanity, doing videos, just trying to come up with new ideas every day, just try to stay entertained. But I mean, as far as the DJ side of things, the side of the business, I don't know. It's a little bit scary because, when you're DJing, you kind of can tell what kind of job security you have. You'll just fast forward your calendar and you can say, okay, I'm booked. I got income coming in, income coming in, income coming in. And now it's like, all right, those dates are booked, but who knows if they're actually going to happen. And, for me, even if somebody reschedules, it's just lost income because, I pretty much work every weekend, and me, moving somebody to like next year or even towards the end of this year, chances are I probably would have been working that date regardless. So it's lost income. There's really no way about it. But luckily I do have the YouTube channel, and that's kind of what's been keeping me sane. But as far as everything else, I've just been at home, messing around with the DJ system. Days feel, it all feels like one big day. I've lost all track of time. I have no idea what time I go to bed. I either go to bed super late or super early. There's no structure, I guess, anymore.
Yeah, there you go. You could say that. Yep. It's sometimes you just forget what day it is, but we still take one day at a time in what we all do.
I had taken my watch off for like a week. I was like, what does it matter?
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. Exactly. Sometimes I'm going to bed like you guys said, like 4 or 6 in the morning, and it's like,
last week I felt the sun come up 3 times. I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah, I feel like a teenager. It's been so long since I've woken up at like midday. I've never used to do that.
It's called house arrest.
Well, this
Tell
is a
me
good
about it. House arrest, definitely.
This is a good segue. What Eric brought up about outdoor like that. So Eric, from your perspective, because I know you use quite a few, for an event company, why is it important for an event company to invest into IP rated fixtures?
Well, anybody who's seen any of my pictures, whether they be on my page or the ADJ page or anywhere, they've gotten some really good traction. I'm going to try to do this screen share and actually make it happen this time, not just explain it. So the IP rating was the next step for us. We have a lot of fixtures that we use for indoor events. Everything from what you're seeing behind me are the Z4s that I used the Airstream bridge just to put a little chase on today, just to put a little color behind me. So the IP rated fixtures have allowed us to do some architectural things in Lake Placid. We got a lot of really cool looking structures. You get the ski jumps, you have the Olympic Arena with a lot of cool architectural angles on it. So that's given me another source of income. Now, this last month and a half, the whole Light It Blue campaign that was nationwide, we had our lights up there from I think I put them up in November to use them for Christmas time and to use them, when I say there, meaning on the Olympic arena. We use them for Christmas. We use them for the reopening, the relighting of the torch for the 80 Olympics, the 40th celebration. The arena manager came to me and said, hey, we'd like to do red, white, and blue. By all means, let's do it. We need something, to kind of inspire us. Then when they did the Light It Blue campaign, bang, we lit them up blue in Lake Placid as well. So we've used those IP rated fixtures outside. We use those for Ironman, which we're hoping Ironman happens. That's in the end of July. And I'm not going to start digging for a lot of pictures here on my Facebook page, but go there and check it out and see what those fixtures have done for us. It's been another source of income. It's just really cool. It's made it a lot easier as I've taken old fixtures like the BSWs and put them outside in bubbles. I don't need those anymore with the Hydro series. So that's been, not another source of income in the matter that I'm getting more dollars in, but I'm not spending as much to take the time to make the other fixtures waterproof.
Right. And I think that's going to be a big part of, as some of you guys had mentioned, of how the business will rebound. A lot of it's going to take place outside. And there's a lot of fixtures out of the market. When people hear IP, they always think expensive, but there's uplights that have IP, that are IP rated, that you could use outdoor. I mean, I've been to a winery in the evening and you see battery powered IP rated out there. They could go anywhere, especially now with breweries. We talk about weddings and school dances, but you're talking about breweries now, and they want to spice it up and add lighting to their nightlife over there. You talk about wineries, same thing. They don't want cords and all that. So the battery aspect of the business becomes bigger on that end.
Right. And those 84s that I was speaking to you about, and also to Edgar today, with these outdoor graduation ceremonies and outdoor events, drive-in movies, those AV4s are going to be perfect for this.
Yeah. And
that's an IP rated fixture for anybody who doesn't know.
Right. And Brandon, maybe you could touch on this because I know you do video. When you do those outside events, what is the importance of having your nit rate or a higher nit rate on video walls? And what's the difference between using regular video walls and IP outdoor walls?
Indoor video walls are really good for what I've, from my experience is, they're higher pitch, this is going to be technical. Like we use 3.9 indoor millimeter, where the LEDs are really closer together. So that way some of the audiences that's sitting closer to it won't see a lot of the pixelation, versus the outdoor video wall, the LEDs, you can get away with being more wide apart. However, it's less of them, and the panels you can drive them a little bit more power into them, and therefore you can have more brightness. So for example, we have video walls that are 2,000 plus nits for outdoors, whereas indoors, the indoor video walls are roughly around 1,200 nits for indoor. The outdoors are IP65 rated, so that way if having the rain or any type of moisture, it won't damage it. The outdoor video walls typically were usually more expensive depending on the pitch. There's some walls that are transparent where the air actually goes through it. They're 7 mil by 3.9 mil, so that way you still have a little bit of a high res, but at the same time you can hang it up outside and it's a lot lighter. I'm hoping I answer your question.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I wanted you to explain the difference. So people out there, they know when they have indoor video walls, you could take them outside, but because of the nit rate, they're not going to be able to visually see them the same, especially on a bright day, and you can't battle sunlight like that. So that's for sure. Albert, go ahead.
I was going to say, the 4,000 nits, like you're saying, and the beauty of those is that if you need to, you could use them indoors as well. So you invest a little more in the front side, but the multi-purpose, like Brandon said, it's a 3.9. That's a 4 pitch.
It also depends on the type of clientele you're dealing with. Like most of my clientele, most of everything we do is indoors. So we hardly ever do anything outside. Hardly ever. Maybe once, maybe every other year. Other than that, it's too hot in Texas, first of all. It's so hot here. People rather have it indoors anyway. So we're dealing with big ballrooms. So most of everything we do is indoors here.
And it's humid in Texas too, right?
It can be. It's mostly
Yeah.
dry heat. Orlando, Florida is very humid.
Yeah, our
We have
stuff
a
is,
business partner here.
for me, predominantly would be all outdoor stuff.
Yeah,
So,
and again, the only reason why I wanted to bring it up because there is, as Brandon pointed out, indoor depends on your client. So those are tips we want to make sure people know. But as things open, outdoor at this point is going to be the key right there. And so
Right.
we want to make
Absolutely.
sure people out there are aware of the difference. Albert, do you have a question for any of the pros right here? I know you got a list of some of the things that maybe you want to.
Uh-oh.
Albert's going to dig one of his questions out here, so be ready right there.
On my toes.
And we got a few minutes left, guys. So once Albert goes through this, I got a few fun questions for some of you guys there.
Okay, I have a quick question. So a lot of the venues that I'm a preferred vendor at, they allow me to use a haze machine because they trust me as a professional. I've been doing it for a long time. When you go to a new venue and they tell you no fog machines, no hazers, no any of that stuff, we have sensitive sprinklers or new system. How do you convince the venue to allow you to use your hazer? So obviously you can enhance your lighting and make your lighting a lot more nicer. That's my question to everyone.
I can go first if you want. So we do a lot of college events. And we talked about this in the chill room the other night. That's one of the things that is great about that chill room is we trade ideas like this. We actually have fire marshals here in New York. It's a couple $100. You could shut off your system, a localized system, and that fire marshal will do walks. And so at that point, if they're open to that idea, and again, trust is a factor. You're not going to go crazy, just need a little atmosphere to make those lights pop. So we hire a fire marshal, $200, $300. They walk the room the entire time and problem solved.
Yeah, Fire Watch, I think is what they call it, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Firewatch. Yes.
Sure.
Fire Watch.
Yeah. Any of you guys, Brandon or Barr, want to add on that?
Yeah, we do the fire marshal. That's something I automatically mention, especially with the school events we do. We automatically we do our research on the city limit because every city limit is different. So the fee is different. Some city limits are $1,500, some are a couple $100, some are about $500 on average. So we'll sometimes we'll have to figure that out in our cost. Most cases, the school already took care of it with the banquet facility, especially with, for example, the Gaylord Texan here in Dallas-Fort Worth. On the flip side of it, they charge some of these venues and hotels across the country who work with PSAV. I'm pretty sure some of y'all are familiar with them. They are charging a supervisor fee just to use their loading dock, and they'll charge you this supervisor fee to monitor the weight while you're setting up. So, for example, Gaylord Texan here in Dallas-Fort Worth, Grapevine to be exact, charges $2,000 just for us to use the loading dock.
Wow.
And plus the electricity on top of that.
Unbelievable.
I want to move to Texas. That sounds awesome.
And be a fire marshal, or what are these guys? These PSAB guys.
Loading dock supervisor.
You'll be the dock guy.
You don't have to load anything in. You just have to watch now.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, you got to
Supervisor.
watch it. So some of these hotels will not tell your customer this. They're gonna make them sign the contract, and then and then the contract, something really tiny. You're gonna get 3 20-amp circuits, 3. But they're not gonna tell you how much it's gonna really cost. So it's good to negotiate a lot of this stuff on the front end, especially if you're having a major event where it was college, wedding. I had a bride, for example, who had a big wedding in downtown Fort Worth. She was hit with a $1,400 bill that she did not expect just for me to walk in the door. She was pissed.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But I put in my contract what I needed, so it didn't come back on me.
Right.
Well, those are really good tips. I mean, you guys several good tips throughout this whole live stream so far has been great. I'm gonna switch it over and let's have a little fun right now. Brian S. Red, yes. I know I've been out with you on the road, and Brian Dowdle as well. And as a matter of fact, you got the image right behind you of vinyl.
Yeah.
Can you tell people out there what when we go to DJ Expo or the shows that you've been to? What do you like to do
before we go to the show?
Yes. What do you like to do?
Well, it's not only myself, but it's Brian Dowdle in the room here.
Yes.
He's actually more of an instigator with that than I am sometimes. Where we'll want to try to find the local record shop. just to see what they have, just to browse. And it's usually used stuff. Alfred's been with us in Philly and grabbed some records. We've all done it. It's just a fun thing to do, is treasure hunting, just to see what you can come up with. I found some really neat stuff on the road. I've picked things up, just little records here and there. Oh, geez. We've done it all over Europe. We've done it all over the US. We do it in Vegas. We do it in Atlantic City. We do it in Los Angeles. Of course, you guys live there, but when I'm there, I'm digging through the crates. It's fun just to go crate digging at the primarily used record shops, just to see what they have. Sometimes it's a pawn shop. Sometimes it's a record store. Other times it's just kind of a thrift store kind of thing where they have a little bit of everything, and you never know what you're going to find. And you don't know how many copies of Barbra Streisand's Guilty and Herb Albert Whipped Cream Over Delights you've got to go through before you can find that really cool track,
That is true. One of the things that I used to do when I used to buy a lot of vinyl, obviously I bought them a couple times with you guys on the road, but I'd always buy doubles, because I always said, sometimes even triples, depending on how good the song was. I always said, as a side business, hey, there's a demand out there and you can't find the records as much as you used to. But I always thought it was a side business and sell some of those records. But that's another idea of DJ. Probably
Right?
not. Well, somebody said it. I don't remember online, but they said we're hoarders. DJs are hoarders when it comes to records.
Yeah. Well, I mean, guys like Alfred, you know this. I mean, we're from the same school. When people started dumping this stuff for CDs back in the early 90s, that was heresy. It's like, what are you doing? These are beautiful things. That we coveted them so much, and people were just disposing of them. So I was hoarding them at the time, because I'm like, oh my God, this was all stuff that I could never afford. I couldn't do it. I could get a couple of them, but not this great big lot of them. And for a minute there, I was picking up primo stuff for like $5 for $1. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Well, there you go. The Bryans, when it comes to vinyl, and I've seen it in person, and they just dig and dig and dig, and all of a sudden they pop out with a couple of classics right there. And it's a beauty, because it's just not one genre. They're looking for a mixture of them, and when you pull it out and you see that album cover, it's just like, wow, look at this right here. Especially when you find one that you didn't. Right? Exactly.
Yeah, and I kind of know what Brian's looking for, and Brian kind of knows what I'm looking for, and they're not usually the same thing. I can't remember one time Brian and I fought over a record. We usually go for very different things, or I already have it kind of thing.
Right,
so,
right.
So it's fun. He's a good partner to go out and dig with. On the other hand, there are people I go out with who have too similar of a taste that I do, and we fight over stuff. I can't. Marl Luna, if you know him, we got into it over Eddie Murphy's Boogie in Your Butt. That. Like, you're never gonna see this again. And Morrow, he's got it, but he promised me, he put it in his will for me, so I'll have it someday.
Sounds a little personal, but
it's
yes,
very personal.
There you go.
TMI.
Yes. Okay. So Barr, obviously Brian just shared, because I brought it out. One of his hobbies, in a sense, he likes to do that ties in with DJ and the music we love. What about you, Barr? What is something that you do out there that we don't know about you?
Oh, that's a tough one. I feel like I put it all out there.
There's got to be a hobby, unless it's just Steve. There's got to be a external hobby or something.
I mean, lately I've been playing a lot of video games. Just being cooked in the house. So I've been playing a lot of video games. There's a new.
How about traveling?
Yeah, I do love traveling and photography too, but I don't get to do it as much as I used to. But yeah, traveling photography, I do miss those. those are kind of hard to get back to now.
So you're telling us that this has faced you back into your gamer days?
Yeah, pretty much. I used to, my video games used to sit there, but now I have all the time in the world now. So video games have become a large part of the quarantine life.
What system do you have, Barr?
I've been playing my Nintendo Switch. I love it. I wish every system was a Switch now, just because I can lay in bed and I can just play with it like real big video games. Not like the old handheld games that were like, like 8-bit video games. Now you can get like real video games handhelds, and it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. Well, if you're ever around the next trade show that we're all out someday, and you run into our product specialist, Jake Rhodes, he's definitely one of the big gamers here, and I think he's probably did it more often than he used to do it. That's for sure.
Getting back into it.
Yeah, so you definitely want to pick his brain.
Yeah.
So Brandon, what about you? I mean, we've talked about your business and your team and all that like that. Obviously, a little bit about your family. What usually what do you do outside of the business?
What I do outside the business, I like to do filmmaking for my kids and composing my own cinematic music.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
so-
Oh, wow. I
So
didn't know that
for
one.
example, yeah, a lot of people don't know, but I've been playing these things here since I was a kid.
Oh, wow.
You know,
That's
I
cool.
got a keyboard
Oh,
down
wow.
here.
Ah.
So
So when
So
you're gonna
like
go
keys.
live, when you're gonna go live and give us a little session?
When's the album
I
drop?
don't know. I don't know, man. I'm finally. I mean, I just bought Logic Pro, so yeah, I like
Oh, there
that,
you
Brian
go.
Red.
Nice
Yeah, I just bought Logic Pro and Pro X, and I'm still trying to figure that thing out. So, but you know, I've been doing a lot of collecting like footage of my kids with these really high-end cameras I have, so I could put some type of reel together with a voiceover. So when they graduate, I have like a 4K video cinematic from when they were kids all the way up until today.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
That's cool.
Nice.
yeah, and it's gonna make them. Oh my god, they're gonna cry when I'm done with that. You
I
know,
like
Yeah.
that one better.
yeah, I
Oh,
love that
yeah.
one.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
That was
that's
just
what I do in
recent.
my own time. You know, I do a lot of filmmaking and music. Man, I just like making music. I enjoyed music since I was a kid. So music
Yeah.
was my passion.
Well, that's
How
great.
many mixtapes do you have, Brandon?
Oh man, you know, I never published any of it. You know, but I have stuff. That, believe it or not, I don't know if you heard of this technology. Some of y'all haven't heard it in a while, but the old school Sony mini disc.
Oh,
Damn.
wow.
You went back.
Yeah, I have stuff recorded on there. You know, and I had made some mixes on a computer. I'll say probably about a little over 8 years ago, that I haven't really pulled back out. So I just started over the last year and a half, started doodling and getting the feel of all these instruments. There's 5 keyboards in this office, so that each one has its own unique niche for what I'm using it for.
Well, that's you're very talented in what you do as well as just your own business. So that's great to know. What was the story? I saw a video that you posted of you were sneaking in this dollhouse into the house.
Yes. So my daughter had a birthday come up, and she wanted a dollhouse. So you know, that's her over there peeking over. Come over here, baby. You want to come over here? Yeah, she's.
There you go.
I see her little hand popping through.
Aw.
Yeah, her hair's not done, but yeah. So basically, you know, I'm a full-time daddy daycare, full-time entrepreneur with 4 kids during this lockdown. Otherwise, if the 3 of them at school, then it'll be just me and this little one right here, which is my
Oh,
youngest daughter. Her nickname is Boogies.
Are you teaching
like
them
this.
now? Homeschool?
Yeah, that's what we're doing. Homeschooling 3 kids, man. You know.
Oh.
So we were all of a sudden, you know, on top of your work, we become school teachers overnight, you know,
Yeah.
with expectations without pay, you know. So they're still
Yeah.
taking my tax dollars, you know. They're still charging me property tax for the school. But
There you go.
long story short, you know, I was sneaking in that dollhouse so they won't see it, you know. So I had to leave it in the garage, you know. So it's until the birthday. The birthday was like 2 days later.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad I didn't blow the surprise in with her there.
they're not on
Yeah.
social media yet.
That you
Well,
know
Once they
of.
have a,
That
There you
know
go.
of.
Okay, well, speaking
don't worry.
of kids
TikTok.
and Eric Wilson up there, he has 3 daughters of his own. And why don't you tell everybody? There's one more thing I'm going to ask you about that, but what
Okay.
your daughters have been doing. What do you got them into? I think it's Tuesdays. I'm not sure which day it is, but what do you got them doing now?
So, you know, we come from a very long family of music. My grandfather was a music teacher. He used to play in Vegas during the summer times. I can't play anything but a radio. So music has kind of gone down in my family. I set up my rig in my garage, put up a backdrop, and we've been going live for, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 weeks now. My daughter said, Dad, we want to do a night. So my girls, they became the Twisted Sisters DJ crew. So Tuesday nights, they pick somewhat of a theme and they just stand back there. They have a blast. They dance around. They're 16, 14, and 8. And they're just, you know, having a blast back there, just playing around. Megan's 16, Lisa's 14, and Anna's 8. Megan's kind of the DJ. Lisa has somewhat become like the MC. And Anna, she's just, you know, the cheerleader that goes along with it. And they've been having a lot of fun. They're watching right now, matter of fact. So hi, girls. They've been, you know, watching us tonight. They're in the house.
They've been TikToking.
Oh my God, they got me into doing TikToks. So
Oh, you need to post one of those. I haven't seen. I don't recall seeing.
I
that'd be
started
funny.
a TikTok. I started a TikTok account, and they're all extremely goofy, extremely silly.
That's what's
And I think that's the idea of TikTok,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Just have some fun with it.
So the second part
Yeah.
of the question is, how much do you miss the happiest place on earth?
You know, we're big Disney fans. We're involved with the Vacation Club. You know, we're supposed to be there just recently. We're supposed to be there in July. We have a cruise booked in January. We've already been on 11 of them. The girls right now, we've been watching on the Disney Plus. We got Disney Plus. We've been watching videos of the park. So yeah, we really miss it. That's been a big part of my family growing up. And I don't know, you know, Anna spent her first birthday there. It's just been a big part of our family. So we like it there. And I tell you what, a lot of the cool part of it is I look at things from the production aspect. So when I see things, I'm like, I wonder how they do that. And the girls will always ask me, so Dad, how does that happen? I'm like, you figure it out for yourself. You know, and
Yeah.
another cool thing is, you know, seeing those lights when they do the new show that they have at the Magic Kingdom. I'm like, I know those lights right there.
Eric, you're probably like me when you walk into a nice venue. You're doing this, right? Like,
Absolutely, yeah.
And
You know, I
my
wonder
wife-
what they're using.
my wife and my daughter are like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm checking out other stuff. I'm like, just look down. I'm like, no, I gotta see what they have.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We look at it from a different angle sometimes. You know, we were talking about the Super Bowl in the chill room last night. I want to see them bringing the stuff out. I want to see what they're using for the production. Now, granted, this year my focus was kind of on the performers.
You
But,
you
yeah.
you want to see them while they're doing the commercial and then doing all the behind the scenes stuff, right? That's what you want to see.
We were saying that I would rather take the commercials off. Let's see how they put this all together.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Albert, obviously we wanted to do the Eliminator roundtable and invite you as a guest since you are the face of Eliminator. So any final words from you on this before we wrap it up?
All I want to say is that whatever ideas you have out there, something that you think that is needed in the industry, please send me a message. Please talk to me, share it with us. There's a lot of stuff that we have that's really cool that have come from other people in the industry. Hey, Albert, I was thinking about this, or wouldn't it be cool we had that? No idea is too out of reach. No idea is not something we'll think about. If we can make it awesome and if we can share it with a lot of clients and help them make more money, that's what we're here for. We're here for the working person that does events, that is going to help make more income for you, for anybody that does events that's in our industry. Because if we help you make more money and more income, obviously you're going to come back and ask for the next best thing, or to ask what's coming you up for our industry. So whatever ideas you have and that you want to share with us, please do so and let us know, and we'll make them happen.
And I can't say it because Albert doesn't share it with me, but for a fact, I know he has some awesome new products that are going to come out that everybody will be able to use. Right now, they're going through testing and all that like that. So in Eliminator, he's really putting a big effort in listening to the needs of DJs out there. So as you guys see any ideas, you see him, share with them, pick up the phone, give him a call. He's here to help just like all of us. Brian Dowdle, I want you released something today. Why don't you tell people something? I want you to announce it. And then these guys obviously are all part of it, that it could be included, except for myself and Albert, but everybody else and everybody is out there. So take it away, Brian. Tell them what we're doing next.
All right. So yeah, today we released a house party contest. And the idea is to either post a photo or a video of you using your ADJ gear, and with the hashtag ADJ house party. And at the end of the month, we're going to give away some prizes. The idea is that, you know, everyone's stuck at home. Let's have a little bit of fun, and kind of like the old days, throw up your lights and let's see what's going on. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're excited about it. You can go to adj.com, see the rules, or on the ADJ Facebook page.
Are we open to do that?
Yes,
Yeah,
you guys are.
go for
You
it.
guys are.
Yes,
I
you
got a
are.
message
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Maybe
I
I'll
got
have to do a
Hey.
promo
Corey.
video for you.
Light them up.
during this live stream. Corey sent me a message. He goes, "I'm going to start programming right now."
You,
All right.
you can't say you don't have time, right?
Yeah, right.
Yes.
You can't say that right now.
And you guys can get more information on the ADJ or Eliminator page, and it could be a mixture of the fixtures and everything like that. The other thing too is that it is surrounded, with the theme house party. So we want it to be at people's house. I know some people have warehouses and where they keep products and things, but the idea is a house party is your front yard counts, your garage counts, your living room, your man cave, your backyard. So whatever you could do, and everybody out there that wants to be creative. And the beauty about it is you have until the end of the month. So it's not like we're pressuring you to do it now. I know already people started posting videos of some of the ones they already had with the hashtag, but it has to be something new, something fresh, and it does have to be surrounded in your household, around your household too.
Residential. Got it.
Residential, exactly. Yeah, we just want it to be a fair playing field. But again, like Brian said, a lot of DJs have products sitting and they're not using it. And you guys know this is a time to get your gear ready, tune it up a little bit, and then of course touch up on your programming skills and things like that is very important.
Challenge
So,
accepted.
There
Well,
you go.
Eric, you have to bring it in your house. None of this big, luscious, beautiful warehouse office space you have crap. You got to bring it in the house with the girls.
What
Exactly.
side? I'm thinking outside the perimeter, right?
It's
There he
right
goes.
outside of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Brian, S. Red, some last words for you before we close up.
I'm here for you. No idea is a bad idea. Just like Albert said, we're all just trying to figure this out. Nobody knows what's going to happen. We don't know, but all we can do is hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. And think about what you can do. Don't worry about what you can't do right now. Think about what you can do. And with that, I think that we're all going to come up with something unique,
Okay.
and we're going to get through this.
Staying
Words-
positive.
Words of wisdom from Brian S. Red. How about you, Barr? What do you want to say to people out there? Last words?
Stay safe, practice, live stream, and go watch some videos.
There you go. Brandon?
I would say the same. Stay safe. Use this time to catch up with those of you who have family at home, kids. Spend time with them. This is a great opportunity to, catch up with some of your in-house family that you're in lockdown with to, catch up time with. That you normally don't get a chance to when we're gigging and working. Another thing is to, at the same time, work on your business on the back office stuff, so that way you're all caught up. So
There you
Well
go.
said.
Well said. Eric, last words?
My glass is half full. I now have time to do things I've never had time to do before, and I probably will never have it again. As Brian said last night, we were talking about this. I have time to spend time with the family. I taught my daughter how to change a tire the other day. When am I gonna have time to do that?
That's awesome.
We've been doing meals at home. I said, all right, home ec, you guys. My grandmother passed a couple years ago. I got all her cookbooks. I said, girls, close your eyes, pick a cookbook, open it up, make a meal out of that cookbook. I'm teaching them these life skills that either aren't taught, we don't have enough time to teach them, and we're just having a lot of good family time. And I really, as long as I'm not starving, I'm enjoying this time with the family. I'm enjoying doing things around the shop that I never had the chance to do. I don't know. I'm looking on the positive side of this. There's going to be an end to it. I told my wife today, I said, I was loading some stuff up. I said, man, I don't know. I'm kind of getting used to just hanging around here. I like being around you guys. I like, being home. I don't like, I do love my traveling, but I don't know. I'm enjoying my time at home. My glass is definitely half full right now.
What kind of Mondays are we going to have, like, as a world when this is all over? Can you imagine the case of the Mondays we're going to have going back? Everybody going back to work.
Right.
Together?
That first time we got to load up and set up, and we're sweating and we're fighting with things, and the computer's not working.
I just did a video on that. I challenged every DJ. I'm like, everybody's gear's been sitting, so why not go set it up and break it down?
There you go.
or update your laptops or your gear. I mean,
Totally been doing that.
yeah.
Well, being prepared is the best thing you could do. Again, those who fail to plan to fail. So you guys hit it on the button there that you do have to be ready for what's next in line. And obviously it's going to be gradually, but I want to thank all you guys for coming on here because you guys really, inspired me, and I'm hoping people out there that are going to watch us. Remember, this video is going to be on Facebook and people will be able to watch it over and over, or people that didn't get a chance to spend with us will watch it too. So we thank you guys for every tip that you gave out there, the DJs, the industries, how to maximize yourself, your finances, balance your finances, but also take a day at a time and don't really fear, because the celebration is bigger than what's ahead for us. And that's what we're anxious to see. And one more thing, Eric, because you said you're good at home, Vegas is going to open Memorial Weekend. That's their key.
Double
Really?
zeros, baby. Double zeros.
Oh man, that's your number.
So you're going to have to stay home, even if you want to go to Vegas, because I know you are Mr. Vegas.
Well, that's why they call me DJ Mr. Viva Las Vegas.
There you go. On that
Well,
note,
I'm looking
guys.
forward to the next time we can all get together, man. This is going to be one heck of a celebration.
Yes, it will be, and we'll look forward
I
to
agree.
it. But again, you guys were awesome. Really appreciate the delay and everybody out there that, probably some people had to log off or couldn't be on there. But the beauty is, again, it's a virtual world and everyone's going to see it. And everybody stay healthy, stay in shape, and, do whatever you guys do, enjoy the time with the family, and, we'll be back to work on a regular basis more, but it'll be a gradual thing. But we appreciate, the opportunities that we get, because as DJs, it's your job. You guys get to make people's moments and make people's night. So thank you guys for all the years of doing that. And we look forward to what's in there for the new future for all of us. All right.
Thanks
Have a
for
good
having
evening,
me on.
All
everybody.
right, guys.
Thank you.
Too.
Stay healthy and safe.
Yes, there you
Hey,
go.
Albert,
Thank
take
you, guys.
care, man.
All right. You
Take
too.
it easy, guys.